Guys, it's day 8 of our practice on prayer. And this was a tough one for me, as it's just something I probably would score an F on for most of my life. I wouldn't say it's because of any intention. It's probably the opposite. It's a lack of it. And that is, it's the whole issue where Jesus is asking us to pray for more laborers for the harvest, that we need them. So the first obvious question is, well, Jesus is like the guy. How about him just launch a prayer for more people to work the harvest? Because wouldn't his prayer count a whole lot more than ours? He wouldn't have asked us to do it if it wasn't important for us to do it. So as we've seen, God built this place and put us in charge of it. And the truth is he gets involved to the extent that we ask him to get involved. So, again, kind of taking a hypothetical life situation, if someone's parents built them a house and set them up and were like, okay, you're good to go. At some point, if there's some help involved, it's going to have to be you as the kid saying, hey, could you help me with this? Could you take a look at this? And so for God, he wants us to view our responsibility here on the planet, and he wants us to take it. And then if we need some help, he wants us to ask for it. But he wants us to have done our homework before we ask, so that we don't just, every time there's anything that's on our mind, we just throw it out there and step aside and let him do all the heavy lifting. So we need to be cognizant of what we're responsible for, and then ask for help through prayer when we need it. So again, I can't think of hardly any time over the last 30 years of my life that I've said a specific prayer asking for laborers for the harvest like Jesus said to. Certainly read that passage, and then I just keep right on rolling like probably most of us do. So one of the things that we need to work into our 7 p.m. prayer when you're at home praying is ask God to send more laborers for the harvest. Here's a thought, and it's just a thought. I could be completely wrong on this. But remember, times and seasons and time, space, that whole continuum is different for God. I wonder if this whole thing has lasted a lot longer than it was intended to, because we haven't prayed for the laborers. Again, just using a random example, let's pretend that you and I were 1,000 head of cattle. And let's pretend that they're out on this ranch. And God's basically saying, you know what? I'm not ramping up ranch duty here until I've got all 1,000 cattle. And if there are ways to call those cattle in, there are ways to bring those cattle in. Again, God's not going to turn them into zombie cattle so they just come marching in because they're zombies. He's going to let us make our choices. He's going to let those cattle make their choices. So could it be that all of this time has taken what it has because we haven't gone out and tried to bring the 1,000 head in, so that there's always a few out there missing, and God cares enough about each one of us that he's not leaving one head of cattle out there? So maybe would that be one cow out there? Cattle's plural? Maybe. Yeah. Anyway, let's pray about that, right? We can do that. That's not too tall of an order for us. So 7 p.m. prayer tonight, all of us praying together. Take it serious. For years, I think I'm going to make a video on this. For years, I don't really think I believed in prayer. I would have never said that. But I didn't do much of it. So if you believe in something, you'll do it. If I believed that prayer was as powerful as we're saying, I would have done it, and I didn't. So if you're constantly finding ways to not pray or other things to do, you believe in those things more than you do in prayer and talking to God. That's just what your actions are saying. I was there and have been there. You may be there now. So let's turn it on a dime. Let's put the power of Christians together, loading up prayers, launching them at 7 p.m., and let's make a difference in this world. All right? Okay, I appreciate you guys.